Now, there are a lot of powerful characters in Marvel, but this is one you probably haven't heard of. And he might be one of the most stupidly overpowered characters in Marvel. There are many powerful characters, but what makes Protege different are his powers. So first off, he's a kid, like middle schooler age, but he can copy powers. But the crazy thing is, he can copy anyone's power, and there isn't a limit to whose abilities he can take. All Protege has to do is look at them once and it'll have their power, but not only that, he'll already have experience with those powers and have completely mastered them. And to add on top of that, there isn't a limit to how many powers he can take, so he can stack them infinitely on top of each other without any downsides. He's pretty much just a spoiled child and raised to believe that he is a god. He refuses to accept that anyone is more powerful than him. He's pretty much just shown to be an unruly little shit when disobedience throws him into a temper tantrum, as he'd come to expect his orders to be carried out immediately. Now, he appeared in the old Guardians of the Galaxy comic like the Guardians before Star-Lord, but basically on Earth 691 in the 31st century, the Universal Church of Truth was founded a millennia ago by Magus, an evil version of Adam Warlock. It begun as a sect but grew to take over the planet, which they called Homeworld. Then they spread out to enlighten other worlds as their faith. Their search for their god was unsuccessful, so they eventually decided to create him themselves. Using a combination of selective breeding, genetic manipulation, various chemicals and drugs, sciences, and arcane magics gathered from the worlds in their dominion, they finally managed to create him. And boy, did that shit work. But eventually Protege and the Beyonder were put on trial by the Living Tribunal and other cosmic entities. He started out with normal characters that he could copy, but eventually during this confrontation and trial, he copied and beat Beyonder. And mind you, this is pre-retcon Beyonder. And he just absorbed and took all of his power like that and immediately knew how to use it. But after saying this, everyone's sort of like, fuck. And the ones who are kind of freaking out a little bit are literal cosmic entities. But after dealing with eternity, he then copied the powers of the Living Tribunal, and after claimed to be the fucking new one above all. Bro became so OP, the writers created a one-time character called Scathon the Approver. That's basically the editor or publisher to finally beat him, and Scathon is technically a celestial, but seems to be on a different level of power if he's doing stuff like this compared to the other celestials. But at the same time, he might also just be his own cosmic entity entirely. After this though, Scathon the Approver was never seen again in any comic. After being defeated though, the Living Tribunal then absorbed Protege into himself to prevent him from endangering reality again. But imagine this, if Protege wasn't so full of himself and he managed to beat Scathon and absorb his power, I don't think there's anyone aside from the one above all himself that could have stopped him. However, I'd really take all of this with a grain of salt. This comic came out like 40 years ago, and Marvel with power scaling is wildly different than it is now than it was back then. But if you enjoyed the video, then be sure to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and let me know down below if you want to see more videos like this. But with all that out of the way, I will catch you in the next one. Peace.